Do you feel snowed under trying to keep on top of all the property deals you've got going through? Or perhaps you want to start outsourcing part of the process but don't know where to start? Well, this week I'm going to help with exactly that as I show you step by step how to create your own deal purchasing tracker using Notion. Hi and welcome. I'm Andy, a real estate investor and coach. I'm here to help you systemise your real estate business so you can free up your time to focus on what's most important to you. Congratulations, you've had an offer accepted and you're now ready to run the purchasing gauntlet, bringing together legals, finance, estate agent surveyors, and more all together. It's not for the faint-hearted, and working on multiple deals at once adds to that complexity. That's why today I'm going to show you how you can use the power of Notion databases to track your purchases, including using database board view, database templates and template buttons, and database relations. Plus, I'll be sharing a bonus tip to help you outsource using page sharing. Timestamps are down below if you want to jump to the relevant section. And are you using Notion at the moment? If so, what do you use it for? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear. But other than that, let's get going. So let's get started tracking our real estate purchases. So I'm currently here in my Real Estate OS at CRM, and it's in here that we're going to create a new database that's all for tracking our purchases. So I'm just going to go down to databases, where I store all of the databases, and I'm just going to create a new page, and I'm going to call this purchases. And on here, we then want to go and create a database. So I'm just going to press return / and then database. And this is going to be a database full page. So I'm not going to do it inline, keep it full page like this. Fantastic. And then I'm going to call this property purchases. Great. And this is where we now need to start adding in a few fields. So firstly, let's just give this a name. So I'm going to call this a purchase name. And this can be anything. So for example, this may be just the address of the property or some unique reference. It doesn't matter too much. So I'm just going to add that one in. Next up, I like to give every record in Notion, I like to give it an ID of some sort. So if I just call this purchase. Now, I'm not going to put this as a number. I'm going to put it as text. And the reason for that is I often like to number my give them ID like 001. Now, if this was a number field, so if I quickly show you by changing this to a number, so type number, you can see that it's just one. So it loses the first couple of zeros. So instead, I'm just going to edit this and I call it text. We don't need to do any sort of number manipulation on it. So text is fine. So we've got our purchase ID, and then that can go into all of my different folders. For example, within SharePoint, everything can be associated with that one number. So I find that is really helpful. Then we want to go and give it a select field. And this is just going to be what's the status of this purchase. And have a think about this. For me, we've got new. So this has just come through. We've not done anything with it. It might be active. Or let me call it open instead. So this is an open ongoing purchase. We could win it. So we go and complete on the house purchase. So it's won. It may fall through. So it's lost. Or finally, I might just put it on hold. So if something gets in the way, it's not dead in the water, but it's just not ongoing. So I've just quickly typed those in, press return. So we've now got those 5 different statuses. And let me just go and rename this. So I'm going to call this status. Just call it that, and there we go. Then the next thing is we've got our property when we go and sort of do our due diligence and we go and do our numbers on it, go and view it, and then this is when we actually start to purchase it. So now I'm going to put a date field in, and this is actually going to be the date that it was date offer accepted. So we can see how long this purchase has taken. So date offer accepted. Let's do the actual price. So what was the price? Purchase. So this is a number, and then this is going to be purchase price. There we go. And the actual number format for me is going to be pound. There we go. So that's purchase price. Then let's put the next follow up. So we'll put in another date, but this time, when's the next time we need to do something with this? So let me just change it to follow up. Great. So those are some of the simple parameters that we want for our database. Now I've got a few what I call relation fields. So if I click add and we type relation, there we go. So this now allows us to connect this database to a different database. So the first thing I want to do is obviously connect it to a property. So which property are we buying? So I'm just going to got here the properties here database. So I'm just going to click on that one. And then we want it to work both ways. So I want the property to appear on the purchases database and then the purchases to appear on the property database. So I'm going to click here, show on properties. So just click that little selection and then it goes backwards and forwards. There's no limit because one property purchase may have multiple properties associated with it if it was a portfolio, for example. And then let's click add relation. Great, and now as a little example, if I click on properties, you can see here are our properties listed. So we could just select the one that's relevant. So that's properties. We could also add some connections. So for example, if I again type relation and we could go to contacts. So if I click on the contacts database here, again, let's have it going both ways. No limit, that's fine. And let's actually say add relation. And this could be the solicitor. So for example, maybe one of these people, let's just say Harriet is a solicitor. I could just go and select Harriet and that would then go and join the property purchases. And I can see for this purchase, Harriet is the associated solicitor that I'm using. So that's contacts. And also lastly, we could add another relation in. Again, relation, contacts. But this time, this could be, for example, which broker are we using? So again, we'll go both ways, add relation, and then we could go and select the broker. And let's say our broker for this property is going to be Jack. So I can see the broker and I can see let's change this name. Let's say this is the solicitor. Great. Cool, there we go. So very quickly, we've just built up our database. Other things we could add in is milestones. So I quite like to add in this. Let's put this as a multi-select, just to show you how that works. And this is going to be milestones. So as we go and achieve certain things through the purchasing process, we could go and add these as milestones. And here we need to add some options. So perhaps we could have mortgage offer received. We could have the conveyancing complete. We could have finally exchange, completion, etc. So we can just track these milestones as we go along. So we could say the conveyancing is complete, and we could also say the mortgage offer is received. So we've done those, completed those two milestones, and we can sort of build up how far we're getting along the various processes. Brilliant. Great, so that is that. So that's the database. So each of these will be custom. So go and add the relevant fields and the relevant information for your business and for the country where you're operating. But these are just a few examples of some of the different fields that you can use when building up your property purchases tracker. After we've gone and created the database, we now want to go and create a board view so that we can easily see where each of our deals are in the purchasing process. So again, I'm still on my property purchases database and I'm going to add a new view. So here to the right of table, you can see we've got the plus button. So if I just click on that one, it adds a new view. Let me give this view a name. So this is going to be purchase tracker. And this we're going to use a board view here. So I'm going to click board view. There we go. And card preview is none. We don't need to see everything. Card size is fine. Group by. So this is where we can select where we want to group things. Now, I want to group by status just for this view, so we can see, and let's put things in order. So we want to have firstly new, then we would have open, so that's ones that are ongoing, then hopefully we'd have one, then lost, then on hold. Color columns, you can, it's up to you. I don't use that personally, and that's it. So then we can very easily see, let's say that this is going to be property purchase one, and we could say that this is new, so we'll take out the milestones. Let's just say that it is currently new. There we go, and we had the offer accepted today, so it's very, very new. So nothing, let's say that the solicitor instructed, that could be one of our milestones, so we could just select that one, and now we can see that it's in our pipeline, and then as things start to move, we could then just drag it into open. Then let's just say we've got another example. So this is property purchase 2. Let's just say, so this is 002. Let's say the offer accepted was a month ago, so the beginning of March. Our next follow-up is this Friday because things should be moving by now. It's been accepted at 250,000. Status, so it's currently open as well. And let's say that at this point, so the solicitor's been instructed, we've received the mortgage offer, but the conveyancing is still ongoing. So that's where we could perhaps select just those two. And then let's give it a property, so Bluebell Road. And let's just say that our solicitor is again Harriet. There we go. Fantastic. So this is where we can very easily just track our purchases as well. So there we go. And we could actually group these. So if you go into, on the right hand side, our view options, we can then go and put a subgroup in, and I could subgroup these by milestones. So as well as tracking their various stages, so we can see here that in terms of our open leads, so property purchase 2 has both had the mortgage offer received and the solicitor's been instructed. So you can actually break these out and reorder these as well. So if you wanted to reorder them, just go into subgroups, and then let's just put these in order of how they would happen roughly. So we would start by instructing the solicitor, then it would be sort of mortgage offer and then conveyancing are roughly the same, then it'd be exchange, then it'd be completion. So there we go. So we could sort of say, great, so the solicitor's instructed. We could then look at what mortgage offers we're still waiting to come through. So we still need that for purchase 1. So it's just a great way that you can slice and dice these different options. You may want to go and flip these round. You could filter on them. So just go and create the tracker that makes most sense to you and how properties and the various stages flow through your business. But that's how you can go and track them. As well as the various stages, we also want to keep track of some notes and things for each of our deals. And we can do that using a database template. So to create a template, on the right hand side, you can see that we've got the new button and the little drop down arrow. So if I just click on that one, I can then go to new template. And let's just go and give this a name. So let's say it's always going to be the property address dash and then 00x. So let's say we give it the number. The purchase ID, and this will be pre-populated, so it could be 0xx. In terms of the status, so it's going to be new, so it'll always be a new property. And then in the body, we could go and create various sections, so or checklists. So for example, for a new purchase, we could say that for the legals, we're going to need certain things to tick off. So just by pressing the left bracket, square bracket, and then the right square bracket, and then space, that'll create a to-do list. Or you can press the / and then just type to do. So there we go. To do. So let's say for the legals, we would need to see the title. So title seen, there may be the property information form received from the seller. There could be other things. Okay, and then for the finance, let's just put in here the 3 hashes and then space to get heading 3, and then we get over the finances. So if you just press the greater than symbol, that'll get to toggle, or you can press the / and then just type TOG, so toggle, and that gives us toggle. So we could have in here the mortgage application. So if I just type that, and then within this toggle, we could then go and put another checklist. So it could be ID sent. We could put in here a bank statements sent, etc. So just build this out, and as you do more and more deals, you'll start to get more and more information around what you need to do, so you can go and build out your template. But just as an example, so we've got this template set up. So now, if I go into create a new property purchase, so if I just go, in fact, new, and then click on here, so the template we've just created, you can see straight away it's put the title in, it's put the information into the body of the record. So I could just put the address in here. So let's say this is going to be test property 1, and it's going to be number 3. Let's change the ID. So this is going to be 3. The operator was accepted yesterday. We need to follow up by the end of the week. But it's also put this in here. So let's say we've already seen the title, we've received the PIF, the property information form, and the mortgage application. We need to do the ID. Okay, and let's say this is now open. Brilliant. So those templates are really, really helpful to go and help you with repetitive tasks without having to create everything from scratch. And one little further tip, if I close this side pane, if I go to this drop down again, we can actually set that template as the default. So if we just go to the 3 dots, click set as default, and let's do that for all views in property purchases. Now, if I click new, straight away it's put in the purchase name that we've typed in, it's put in the purchase ID, it's said that it's new, and if I open the details, it's actually filled in the body information as well. So that's a really quick way for you and your team members by setting the template as default. I hope you're finding this video useful. If you are, please do give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. So we've created our property purchase database. We've gone and found out how to add a new lead. We've connected to some of our other databases, and we've also used a template to go and save us some time when trying to track all this information. So the last thing that I'm going to show you to do today is how to actually go and share this with other people. So if you're working with a virtual assistant or if you're working with a team member, they can access the same information so they can go and update things on your behalf. So here in the page, you'll notice on the top right, we've got share. So if I just click on share, and here we can go and add in another person. So if I just go and add in an email address, so for example, I'm just going to type this email address in, you'll see that my name's appeared. So I can just go and add myself, say what type of access. So it could be just to view the information. It could be to comment. A couple of the options do require some of the paid Notion plans, or you could just give somebody full access at the very top. So once you've gone and added all of the people in that you want to access information, just go and click invite, and they'll receive an email to go and for them to go and check out the database, go and check out the page that you've given them access to, and then they can go and start adding information into the database as well. So it's really, really powerful to go and outsource, get other people involved, and to go and collaborate on the same information together. If you found this video useful, then do check out this next video where I go over 10 top tools that I use to run my real estate business. But other than that, thanks so much for checking out the video. I hope you found it useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. See ya.